How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know for the new season in Pokemon GO called the Might and Mastery. This season is going to be taking place from March 4th to June 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. local time. Now, as far as the new season bonuses that we're going to be getting, we are going to have increased friendship damage in raid battles, guaranteed rare candy XL during raid hours specifically, and then also guaranteed candy XL when trading Pokemon, along with increased Stardust for your first catch of the day. Now, the guaranteed extra large candy from raid hours and trading are amazing bonuses. I'm so happy to see these returning. Now, this does also mean that the 2 free raid passes per day and extra Stardust from rocket battles are going to be removed, but we may see these return in future seasons. Now, as far as the featured seasonal Pokemon that we're going to be getting, it is going to be Kubfu. This is going to debut on March 5th, and it should automatically unlock in your game as well. Now, new steps for this seasonal research quest will unlock over the next few months in game, but this will never expire. So once you claim it, or at least once you log into the game, you don't have to worry about completing it before the season ends. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Kubfu, this Pokemon was first released through the Isle of Armor DLC in Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's going to have a split evolution into Urshifu, which is going to have 2 different forms, Single Style Strike and Rapid Style Strike. They're also going to have unique GMAX forms as well, depending on which one you pick. Now, since there's going to be a split evolution, or at least a split form evolution, you can only get one from the special research because you can only get one Kubfu, and Kubfu can't actually be traded. So you might be wondering, how can you actually get both? Well, based on recent monetization practices, it's no surprise that there's going to be an additional paid version which will be available alongside the free seasonal research that will give you a second Kubfu. Now, the interesting thing here is that this paid research is only going to be available to purchase between March 5th and March 10th at 8 p.m. local time. Considering that Kubfu is going to be a season-long research, I'm not really sure why we only had the ability to buy this extra Kubfu at the beginning of the season. Like, especially for players who are going to be picking up the game maybe in April or May, they won't be able to get a second Kubfu if they really wanted to. Now, similar to the other special research quests, once you do have this quest in-game, you can complete this anytime. It's not going to expire. Now, of course, we have to ask ourselves, is this special research quest actually worth it for $8? To put it in simple terms, no, I definitely don't think it is. This is basically just another money grab targeting people who are going to be completionists, or those who have FOMO, and that stands for fear of missing out. Basically those who need to have both forms of this, or maybe who just want to get a better IV spread because you can't actually trade this. Spending $8 for an additional Pokemon, though, is a pretty high price point, but it's also not that surprising. Like, if we look back at similar exclusive Pokemon that were released like this, it wasn't actually that different. There's actually one Pokemon that comes to mind that most of you are probably very familiar with, and you also noticed that was missing during the Unova Tour. That Pokemon is going to be Keldeo. This was originally available from a paid ticket about 2 years ago during December 2022, and it also cost $8. Now, at the time, a lot of people voiced their complaints over this paid Pokemon research and opted not to buy it. That being said, though, Keldeo has not returned to Pokemon GO since then, and the hope was that we would actually see it again during the Unova Tour, even in the form of a paid ticket. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So basically, outside of Pokedex completion, once again, I don't really think this ticket is worth it. I'd be surprised if at some point in the future we don't get another version of Kubfu that we can get for free. I mean, it might take a couple of years, but it'll probably happen. Fingers crossed anyways. Now, of course, if you guys have an argument against why you should be buying this, let me know in the comment section down below, but as a free-to-play player myself, I really don't like to advocate for stuff like this unless I really feel like the value is worth it. Now, earlier this year in January, we saw the debut of the Dynamax Kanto birds. This season, it looks like we're going to be getting the next rotation of Dynamax legendary Pokemon, the legendary beasts from Johto: Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. The first one of these Pokemon that's going to be in rotation is going to be Raikou, which will debut in a Dynamax Battle Weekend event over March 15th and March 16th. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the Dynamax and Gigantamax system, I do want to highlight that the GMAX form should always be the priority when it comes down to this system. Anything Dynamax is always going to do less damage based on how things are calculated, so while these are going to be really cool to have and it could be a potential good way to get them in their shiny forms, I wouldn't really recommend going overboard and dropping a bunch of money or resources on these Dynamax Pokemon, or these Dynamax legendary Pokemon I should say. You can probably end up getting at least 3 to 4 of these during that weekend for free, so any more than that isn't really that necessary unless you're trying to get that shiny. Now, keep in mind, we have actually had GMAX Toxtricity available in max battles before, and that's going to be a much better option to use in max battles compared to Raikou. Once again, you want to always focus on the GMAX forms rather than the Dynamax forms, even if they are legendary. Now, there is actually one major upside to grabbing these Dynamax legendary Pokemon though, and that's because you can actually drop them in power spots to earn candy. you can earn up to 5 candy per power spot if other players do max battles in that same location. So ideally the best place to drop these legendary Pokemon is going to be in a populated grind spot with a lot of traffic. Personally speaking, I've been farming up a ton of candy on my Dynamax Kanto birds and it has been amazing. It doesn't always work out because sometimes when I drop them in power spots, it's not exactly like a popular place where people go and do these max battles, so I don't really get that much candy or any candy at all, but the times where I do, I almost always get my 5 candy guaranteed. Keep in mind, legendary Pokemon candy is some of the hardest to get in game because it would take you 20 kilometers to walk with your buddy to earn that candy. Otherwise, the next best way is going to be to use rare candy on these legendary Pokemon to get candy on them. So the fact that you can get this candy for free by dropping them in power spots is incredible, and I'm very happy to see them introducing more legendary Pokemon over the course of this season. Now speaking of GMAX Pokemon, since we were just recently talking about it, GMAX Machamp is also going to be available at some point in this season, which is going to be really awesome because it is going to be the best fighting type GMAX Pokemon that we're going to be able to have. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. I talked about GMAX Urshifu as well, right? Isn't that also going to be a fighting type Pokemon? And yes, you would be correct about that, except that for GMAX forms, these moves are going to be a set type. So for example, Single Strike Urshifu is going to be a Dark type GMAX move, and Rapid Strike Urshifu is going to be a Water type GMAX move, so it doesn't actually get access to a Fighting type GMAX move, unlike GMAX Machamp, which is why you want to focus on this Pokemon when it is eventually released. I'll most likely have a video going over this stuff in the future, so just stay tuned for that. Next up, let's talk about the new Pokemon debut for Nickit. So this Pokemon is going to debut on March 19th during the Deep Depths event. This Pokemon was originally discovered in Sword and Shield, and it is going to evolve into Thievul with 50 candy. This Pokemon might have some play in PvP, we're gonna have to wait and see what the moveset is on it, but it's not really something you want to pay attention to for raid battles, so outside of the Pokedex entry and potential PvP play, there isn't really too much to focus on here, but it was teased during the new season. Now for the Research Breakthrough Pokemon, we're going to have a new lineup here, at least some Pokemon are going to be new. We're going to get access to Alolan Marowak, Mawile, Dredigan, Jangmo-O, Charcadet, and Frigibax. Now every Pokemon here except for Frigibax has a potential to be shiny, and you also have a chance to get a remote raid pass from these if you have no more than 2 in your Pokemon bag, although it is pretty rare. Now we are going to have the following Community Day dates already in place. On March 8th, we're going to have Fuecoco Com Day. On March 22nd, we're going to have Totodile Com Day. On April 27th, we're going to have a regular Com Day, and same thing with May 11th. And then finally, on May 24th, we're going to have a Com Day Classic. I would love to hear your own predictions in the comments section down below. I'm usually pretty bad about this stuff, but the one thing I can say is that I don't think we're going to get Quaxly just yet. Typically, we get those water-type starters around June, July-ish, and that's going to be my prediction there in terms of when we get the Quaxly Com Day. But as far as April and May go, I really have no idea, and same thing with the Com Day Classic, so if you guys have any ideas, let us know in the comment section down below. Now with every season in Pokemon GO, we're going to have new Biome Pokemon available. These are typically Pokemon that you're going to see in very specific areas like cities, forests, mountains, around beaches and stuff like that. And so let's take a look at those right now. So as far as the city spawns go, we're going to have access to Flaffy, Ampharos, Whismur, Electrike, P-Dub, Ferroseed, and Charjabug. In forests, you can expect to see Ariados, Yanma, Wurmple, Cottonee, Foongus, Steenie, and Serena. In the mountain area, you can expect to see Paldean Wooper, Slackoth, Nincada, Krogunk, Hippopotamus, and Stunfisk, along with Clodsire. Water-type spawns as well as beach spawns are going to be Marill, Quillfish, Carvana, Wailmer, Spiel, Silo, and Barbarkle. And then specifically in the northern hemisphere, you can expect to see Hisuian Sneasel, Bronzor, Deerling in its spring form, Dino, Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. In the southern hemisphere, you can expect to see Hisuian Growlithe, Sneasel, Beldum, Deerling in its autumn form, Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. Now keep in mind, even though we get these specific spawns and biomes during most of the season, when we have specific events ongoing, these tend to take priority over a lot of these spawn points. So, I mean, even though these Pokemon can be seen, you're probably not going to see them as often. Following that, from the new season, we can also expect to see new Pokemon available in eggs 2 km, 5 km, 7 km, and 10 km, along with special eggs from Entei, which are going to be 7 km, and then Adventure Effect eggs, which are going to be 5 km and 10 km respectively. So let's take a look at those right now. In 2 km eggs, you can expect to see Psyduck, Apom, Wynaut, Bonsly, Ducklet, and Smoliv. In 5 km eggs, you can expect to see Crabrawler, Komala, Togedemaru, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. And then specifically from the Adventure Sync Reward 5 km egg, you can expect to see Skarmory, Leap, Anorith, Munchlax, and Riolu. From 7 km eggs, you can expect to see Alolan Meowth, Galarian Meowth, Alolan Grimer, Hisuian Voltorb, and Galarian Corsola. Galarian Corsola is a very rare Pokemon to encounter, so that should be your target hunt if you're going to go for those 7 km eggs. Now specifically from Mateo's gift exchange, you can also get access to a special 7km egg, which is going to award you with either Alolan Vulpix, Hisuian Sneasel, Galarian Corsola, Pawniard, or Basculin in its white stripe form. From 10km eggs, you can expect to see Larvesta, Carbink, Jangmo-O, Dreepy, Charcadet, and Frigibax. And then specifically from the Adventure Sync reward 10km egg, you can expect to see Bagon, Gibble, Jangmo-O, Charcadet, and Frigibax. Basically, outside of Carbink, these 10km eggs look really good this season. Next up, let's take a look at the power-up tickets. So these are going to be monthly paid tickets that offer additional bonuses throughout this season. These have been actually available in-game in the past. I just haven't really covered them on the channel as much, but now that we're making this video, I figured I might as well. So as of right now, we only know the bonuses for March, but if you actually wanted to buy all 3 of these for March, April, and May, you can go through the web store and you can actually get an extra 100 Pokecoins from purchasing it there. The price point is basically the same either way though, you're essentially paying $5 per ticket, so if you wanted to actually wait and see what bonuses are offered in the following months, that could be a better strategy rather than doing it early. But as of right now, let's talk about the March power-up ticket, which is going to be available to purchase in the shop until March 11th at 8 p.m. local time. After that point, you will not be able to purchase this ticket for the rest of the month. You can also gift these tickets to your friends, which if you have a friend that's kind of just getting into the game, and they're really getting into like gifting and stuff like that, I think it could definitely be worth it for him, but it's totally up to you at the end of the day. Now, as far as the bonuses go, you're going to get 1 additional extra large candy from raid battles as well as max battles. You're going to get 3 times experience on your first catch of the day as well as your first spin of the day. The opening gift limit is going to be increased from 30 to 50. The receiving gift limit from Pokestops is going to be 100 to 150, and the holding gift limit in your bag is going to be increased from 20 to 40. For anybody focused on shiny Scatterbug, friendship experience bonuses, or even just getting more Pokeballs on a regular basis, the gift bonuses make this ticket easily worth the price point. The 1 additional candy is also a really nice cherry on top in my opinion, and these bonuses are going to last for the entire month until April 4th at 10 a.m. local time. But wait, there's actually even more. So, you're also going to have a special timed research awarded, which you have to complete obviously before the month expires, but from this, you're going to get 8 premium raid passes, which are going to be the green passes, 2 MP packs, which are going to be max particle packs. I believe it's like 800 MP per pack, 1 lucky egg, 1 star piece, 2 fast TMs, and 2 charge TMs. The value was already there for the gift limit increases alone in my opinion, but this timed research goes above and beyond. The raid passes at a 1-to-1 value are essentially $8 alone. Now sure, you could probably get these much cheaper if you bought them in bulk for like a special box deal if that was available, but I don't really like comparing this because those boxes aren't available all the time and they're often randomized amongst players, so it's really inconsistent on who's going to have a good box deal and when they're going to have a good box deal. But on top of adding up all the other premium items you're going to be getting from this, I think the value is definitely there. So in conclusion, is the March power-up ticket actually worth it? Yes, without a doubt, the value here is incredible. Now finally, we're going to be taking a look at Go Battle League Season 22. We're going to have some new changes in this season, and we're also going to have a lot of other stuff to pay attention to as well. So let's quickly take a look at those highlights. So first of all, starting off the season, this has probably already happened by the time this video is getting posted, but if you haven't actually opened up your game yet, you're going to get your end of season rewards once a new season starts, and your GBL rank is also going to reset back to 1. Even if you don't enjoy PvP, I always strongly recommend getting to rank 20 every season so that you can easily farm Stardust from the rewards. Getting to rank 20 is completely win-based, so it doesn't actually matter how many times you lose along the way. Now during the following weeks, you're also going to get access to 4 times Stardust from the win rewards, which is the best time to actually farm Stardust in the game. Not even just in GBL, like in the game it's probably one of the best times to farm Stardust. So you definitely want to mark down these following dates in your calendar and ideally reach rank 20 before the first date so that you can start farming up a bunch of Stardust using the 1-4 strategy that I always recommend. If you're not really sure what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link to a video down below. I mean, as a free-to-play player myself, this is like the primary way that I farm Stardust in game. It is so OP. So basically the 4 times Stardust rewards are going to be available from March 18th to April 1st. And then again from April 15th to April 29th, and then finally from May 13th to June 3rd. Now the league rotations are going to be changing every single week, so make sure to check the official schedule in-game to see what's upcoming. Next up, let's talk about the timed research pass, which you guys should definitely claim in the shop. So basically, once a new season starts, you have to go to the shop and claim this free pass. There's going to be 5 research pages requiring 100 battles to complete. And I totally understand it is going to be a lot of battles, 500 battles to complete this entire research, but you can stack the Stardust rewards for every page you have, so that's going to be 10 different Stardust rewards, and you can hold them for the next time you actually use a star piece in game. You know, ideally during one of these 4 times Stardust weeks where you're actually farming the Stardust using the 1-4 strategy. But not only that, once you actually complete page 4, you're going to get an Elite Fast TM, and then once you complete page 5 at 500 wins, you're going to get an Elite Charge TM. This is only available for the first few weeks of the start of the season, so if you guys don't actually claim this right away, you won't get the chance to grab it later. So I strongly recommend going into the game right now and actually claiming that so you don't forget about it. Now throughout the season in GBL, there's always going to be a few extra ways to get elite TMs. We just went over one method right now. The second way is going to be by hitting rank 19, which actually gets you a guaranteed elite charge TM right away, and then at the end of the season you're going to get an elite fast TM. If you basically just follow my advice from earlier, hitting rank 20 to farm the Stardust rewards, you're going to unlock this automatically. Now finally, the last thing is going to be Go Battle Week from May 21st to May 27th. The number of battles you can do per day is going to increase from 25 to 100, and the Ivy Floor and GBL encounters is also going to be removed, and you can actually get a free timed research that is going to award you an elite TM. You definitely don't want to skip this research. It is by far the easiest way to get an elite TM in the game, even if you ignore all the other stuff I just mentioned. So make sure to mark down that date in your calendar right now so you don't forget about it, but I'll most likely cover this on the channel as well, so if you haven't subscribed by now, then definitely make sure to do that so you don't miss it. Next up, let's go over the encounters you guys can get from GBL over the course of this season. So we're going to go over the guaranteed rank up encounters first. Basically, once you make it past this rank, your first encounter that you get from the Win 3 reward is going to be the following Pokemon. After rank 1, it's going to be Minfu. After rank 6, it's going to be Vullaby. After Ace rank at 2000 ELO, it's going to be Morpeko. After Veteran at 2500 is going to be Frigibax, after 2750 at Expert is going to be Dreepy, and then finally after 3000 at Legend rank it's going to be Pikachu Libre, which has a potential chance to be shiny. Achieving Legend rank in Pokemon GO and actually getting that Pikachu Libre, potentially even shiny, is one of the best achievements you can actually do in this game. It is so difficult and requires a ton of time commitment. Now you're also going to get access to the following Pokemon once you make it past these ranks. These will be in the regular reward pool. So after rank 1 you're going to get access to Cubone, Paldean Wooper, Spoink, Minfu, Bunnelby, and then after rank 6 you're going to get access to Skorupi and Vullaby. After rank 11 you're going to get access to Jumpluff, Teddiursa, Barboach, and Citadel. After rank 16 you're going to get access to Alolan Marowak, Lapras, and Pancham. And then finally, once you make it past rank 20, you're going to have a small chance, I think it's like a 1% chance, to encounter the current legendary Pokemon that is going to be available in rotation. I have received so many shiny legendary Pokemon over the course of the last 5 years since GBL has been in game, just from this alone. So I mean, make it to rank 20 guys, not only to farm Stardust, but also to get that chance at getting the extra legendary Pokemon, because you never know, it could be shiny. Every season in GBL there's also going to be an exclusive trainer post for hitting Legend, as well as an outfit that you unlock along the way from Ace, Veteran, Expert ranks respectively. So that pose or that trainer is going to be Mustard, the Dojo Master from the Isle of Armor in Pokemon Sword and Shield. At Ace rank you're going to unlock his hat, at Veteran you're going to unlock his pants, Expert at the top, and then finally at Legend you're going to unlock the pose. Even if you don't make it to Ace rank during this season, if you actually complete the timed research from Go Battle Week, you're going to unlock his hat. Now finally, let's go over the new moves and updates, and I guess to be fair, I'm not really going to cover them in detail here. I didn't really have time to do a full analysis, but thankfully, one of my locals who actually hits Legend every season put together a great breakdown of his own, so I'm going to link that in the description down below. It's going to be a full Google document with pretty much everything broken down move by move. Otherwise, that's basically everything that I have for you guys in this one. If you do want to check out the best Pokemon to power up in raid battles though, then watch this video next.